This is the fourth of the series of my book, Business is a Journey, Not a Destination, and this journey is your life. We'll be looking at Chapter 3, Preparing for Your Travels. Tom Watson was one of the founders of IBM, International Business Machines. He was asked how his business was such a huge success. This founder had three simple steps to his success. First, Mr. Watson created a very clear picture of what IBM would look like when it was finally grown. This would have been his vision of the company, or the desire or size that he wanted to create the company to be. The second thing that he did after having this picture of the company in his mind, he decided how a company of that size should act. So to carry out the tasks, he asked what systems would have to be put in place. How would you operate a business of that size? Thirdly, Mr. Watson began to act like that large company from the very beginning. He mapped out how to follow his systems, and he eventually, it all paid off. His leadership grew IBM to be one of the largest manufacturers of electric typewriters and data processing machines in the world, and it brought him great wealth. Mr. Watson created a vision of what he wanted his company to look like when it was fully mature. Then to build this vision, Mr. Watson had to create a turnkey system that thought out different routes, different scenarios, and basically so he knew how that company should act, and each person that he hired would know how to act, when it got to that size. So from day one, Mr. Watson needed a designer, a builder, he needed an office manager, accountant, salesman, marketer, shipping department, janitor. That's just to name a few. And probably from day one, he probably had to do a lot of those roles himself. But as it grew, he was already acting like that position would act. So it was easy to bring in the new person to replicate how he did things. So, preparing for your business travels include a lot of dreaming. How big do you want to build this business? Build your business as large as you want. First build it in your mind, and then start creating the job positions with their key duties, their systems. And that way, these systems will grow the business to your desired size. Start using the systems from the beginning. And early on, one person might have to do several jobs, or you might have to do several jobs, but you still act as each position is its own identity, and continue to operate this way until your current business is that mature company that you want to build. It's your business. You get to choose how big. There are, some listening that have already began their business journey without taking this preparation step. I will tell you, it will now be tough to create a turnkey system, but it's not impossible or too late. So with a vacation trip as your guide, how the book is spelled out, you need to know who's going to drive the car, who's responsible for getting snacks for the road trip, who's going to reserve the hotel room, what is the proper response to discourteous people on the way, what route should be taken to your desired destination, how long will it take. You need to know these things, and someone has to think it out and do them. So it's no different with your business. Who orders the office supplies? What is the chain of command when someone addresses an issue? Who answers the phone? What verbiage should they use? These are questions that are answered in your turnkey system. All the positions with their job descriptions are laid out in your turnkey system for your desired mature company. So with positions laid out beforehand, it'll be revealed what type of people will be needed to be hired. Plus, you'll have their job duties already written out. So they'll know what they should do, how to act, and who to report to. So after being in business for 12 years, I finally heard about this and started doing it. And I'll give you fair warning, if you don't have this turnkey system in place and you have employees, you're headed down a rocky road. because people do not like change. A few employees quit because of it, and all of them bucked, because that's not how we used to do it. And really, majority of the processes that I changed made it easier for them, but everyone bucked. And then I think they really kind of teamed together just to buck it. So, a few quit because of it. I graciously let a few leave, and because they were unwilling to convert to the system. So, this might be painful to put together a turnkey system, but it needs to be done if you want to scale. If you want to stay the size you are and, struggling where you're at, just keep doing what you're doing. But, most people don't like change, but to reach a desired destination at any large scale, this has to be done. And some people will not fit in this new turnkey system, and including maybe your key employees. So think about that. Are you prepared for your key employee to leave because he doesn't like this change? The answer to this question will determine your ability to scale a business. If a person comes to mind, you're like, man, I can't make it without him. Well, you don't have systems in place. You have an employee doing the work, and when he leaves, your customers are going to leave with him. So for the business owner, the new turnkey system will bring peace of mind, and it'll create consistency within your company. So with my customers, it became not that, well, I like what Brian does, but they liked my business and what my business could do for them. I could then send Joe, and he would do the things I would do them. And then if Joe quit or got promoted, I could bring, Sam in, and he would know how to do his job like me and Joe. Thus, your customers trust the consistency as a business. The negative side of not doing this is if your customers like Joe more than your company, when Joe leaves, he will take your customers. And, I experienced this, before having a turnkey system in hand. And I promise you, listen to this. It's always the high revenue customers that will be taken. So it's no different than when you stop at McDonald's for food or for a restroom break. You're not necessarily stopping there because McDonald's has this great food and, the greatest food in the world, but you stop there because it's a proven fact that McDonald's restaurants are consistent. They'll have clean bathrooms, and they'll create the hamburger in a faraway city just the same way you had it in your local city last week. So you do not eat at McDonald's because Susie works there. You go to McDonald's because of the consistency of their turnkey system. So McDonald's has mastered this turnkey system. A teenager in New York knows how to take your order and even cook that hamburger to perfection, just like your teenager here in your hometown. It's because McDonald's has a turnkey system in place that they follow. And, so when I say turnkey, I just mean, when you get in your car, you stick the key in the ignition and everything works precisely, seamlessly. The ignition system, the electrical system, steering system, cooling system, drivetrain system, suspension system, steering system, braking, just down the line, all these systems come together and operate when you turn the key. So create your business with a system just like your car. So all you have to do is turn the key and everything else falls into place. So with these systems in place, you're now prepared to begin your journey, toward your desired goal. So thanks for watching.